Mason Mount is finally back training with Manchester United, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know not so many of you will be excited by that, but there is one person, and probably the most important person, to be happy about this. Ruben Amorim. I'll tell you how. Welcome to the United of Sport. Like this video, share, subscribe if you haven't. My name is Webb. Guys, where we're headed with a new stadium in 5 years, just 5 years, guys, Man United will be marching into a new stadium, a modern state-of-the-art 100,000 seater, biggest in the UK. You certainly want to be a part of that. So just subscribe, because this is the channel that will get you there. All right, let's get it now. So Mason Mount has been out for 12 weeks. 12 weeks, fam, is such a long time for a player who has got a lot to prove. Ever since Man United got Mount from Chelsea, he has failed to win over the supporters. He has failed to establish himself as an important player. Ruben Amorim, though, joins Man United and is happy about Mount, because Mount is, first of all, a player who won the Champions League playing in his system. So he understands the Ruben Amorim system, that's one. But also, Mason Mount has attributes about his game that Ruben Amorim feels are good, especially for the role of one of the two number 10s. One of his two number 10s should be able to press. Now, we do know that Mount presses well because of his hard working. He's a hard worker. He can press extremely well, and that is very important. Then the other thing that Mount has about his game is his eye for a pass. Mount, by the way, can play some good passes on a good day. The biggest issue with Mount, I think, he joined Man United that had so many problems. That's one. And people were not clearly seeing him as a solution to any of the problems that United had when he was signed. 2, he was signed for a lot of money. 3, he's been injured. He's never fit. So you put that all together, and there are big issues, and you understand why for certain supporters of Man United it's a bit personal. But we are talking a Champions League winner, so Mount has got something about him. And if Ruben Amorim feels that he's an important player, because according to the Telegraph, they say that Amorim wants to ensure that he keeps Mount fit. He's a player he wants to have more times than not, because of the special attributes I've told you about that make him a suitable number 10. So for me, I think, regardless my issues, and you all know my disquiets about Mount ever since Man United signed him, the question I was always asking is, what problem does he solve for Man United? Because United has got a lot of problems. But for me, if Ruben Amorim sees something in him, then I want him fit, because Amorim knows the kind of players he needs. But also, if you recall the game against Arsenal, when Mount played that game against Arsenal, if you recall, Mason Mount actually did help the team organize the team in the first half when he started. He helped Manchester United tame Arsenal because of his hard work, that he keeps running and chasing the ball. And for me, that's something that has been lacking a bit in Man United. Of course, under Amorim, we are trying to see players do it. You try to see Zach the chase and stuff. But chasing is also a bit of art. You need to be able to know when to run and attack the ball. You need to know when to mark the space. You need to know when to press. Now, Mount and Amad Diallo are two players who have it. Now, imagine in the Amorim system having a game, especially if it's a tight game, with teams that play from the back. Imagine if you have Mount and Amad, two pressing guys, as the two number 10s behind Chido. You probably think the pressure will be more on the opposition, because these two players can press from a high. So I sort of try to get into Amorim's head and understand what he sees in Mount. But again, we cannot see it unless he's fit. So the first thing that Amorim knows that he needs to do is keep him fit. 2, hope that Mount can prove it on the pitch. We've got to see him perform, and we see how good he will be when he's playing for Man United, because we cannot tell how good he is if he's not there. So it's upon him, I think, to prove himself. If he's fit now, it's upon him to prove himself. Of course, the game against Real Sociedad might come a little bit too early for him. He might not be in it, but for me, the fact that he's returning in the remaining games, also given the fact that certain players are already being called out by by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. They certainly will not have a lot of fire in them, in the belly. I think you need any player who is a little motivated to fight for anything. I think is needed on the pitch, and Mount is just that, because he has a lot to prove. He has his career to fight for. In the summer, he might be sold if he's not going to come and contribute to the team and prove himself in these remaining days. So there is a lot for Mount to prove, and for me, that will psych him up to be even better than the little glimpses we've seen of him in the past. So it's been a beautiful, I think, injury update. Of course, the better one we would have loved to hear would be about Manuel Ugarte or Kobe Mainu or Ahmad Diallo, but we know that, again, they will be back. I think Ugarte is not so far off. I think Ugarte will soon be returning to train with the team and perhaps be in contention for games. But you want to take every positive as it comes, because this squad is too lean that a player like Mount, who has won the Champions League, will certainly come in handy. So that's where we are with Manchester United now in terms of injury talk. But regardless the injury situation, guys, there is lots of reasons for us to believe in what Ineos and Amorim are building. If past games are anything to go by, these recent games, forget about the results. Like I keep saying, we've seen patterns beginning to make sense. We've seen more comfortable players. I felt like Andrew Onana was too comfortable against Arsenal. He was one of the weak links. Never mind my cock, but listen, I think for me, the Arsenal game proved one thing, that Man United players, if they are comfortable, can play football. If they are comfortable, can run and fight and play good football. So there is not a reason for you to give up entirely. The relegation talk for me is completely done, but the Europa League for me is still way within reach for Man United, especially based on the performance against Arsenal, but most importantly on the positions, including Mount, who is just being confirmed as a guy back in training. So positivity is what we are all about here. Keep it positive, and let's wait and see what will happen. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Like it, share, subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know. Are you happy about Mount? Imagine Mount playing with Garnacho. The Garnacho we saw, best game under Amorim. Garnacho, Mount, Chido up top. Then in the middle, you have your Collier and Bruno. And then Dogu and okay, for now it has to be probably Dalo, but I think Mazraoui looked good going forward, almost scored a goal. So Mazraoui. Then in the back line have your Delete, Heaven and Yoro. I think Man United could look different. So Mount adds something to this team, guys. Let's see it. Let's appreciate it.